All right, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast, where CEOs, COOs, and business owners share strategies for success. This is 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best strategies are concise business advice. And so we're going to get right to it. So first question, in just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
So I'm Chaac, founder CEO of Chaac Technologies. I was previously a computational hacker and military commander, and I lead an innovative sustainability startup with a core technology that produces water and power from the air.
Awesome. Cutting edge, it sounds like.
Oh, well, I mean, we try to be. That's
awesome.
I threw myself into it for 2 years.
So question number 2, what's the best thing about being a business leader?
Oh, pioneering and mentoring growth. Being a business leader is a journey of isolation, it's also a journey of leading no kidding value. You can really create, engineer, and propagate that value. Further, it's a chance for me to be a free radical. I can increase productivity and repurpose that capital to better the world. So that's why I love being a business leader.
Free radical in a positive way.
Absolutely. And Andy Kessler coined that. So I got to give credit to Andy Kessler, who wrote that in Eat People, but this resonates so well with me.
That's awesome. All right. Question number 3. I hear from talking with other business leaders that their business or their people strategy can be more challenging than their business strategy. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, substantial. Yes. People strategy in human capital leadership is much more challenging. In business, the language is relatively similar. You share the same ontology. We all know what products and services mean. We know what margins mean, go-to-market strategy, how to escape the velocity of your product leaving the market or exit pass. However, in human capital leadership and people strategy, I look at it as metamorphic. And what I mean by that is everyone is incredibly unique. And how, in the bigger picture, do their uniqueness of their skills, their talents fit into the overall vision of your progression? So there is no shared ontology. There is no shared, synonyms there. And how do you marry that up in such a way that your strategic growth aligns with mentoring as well as accomplishing your vision?
That was well said. I like that. That's awesome. Thank you. All right. Question number 4. What strategy would you like to share with other business leaders?
So in a term, I would call it the diffusion of innovation into adaptive market plugging. And what do I mean by that? Well, innovation does not come easy. We all hear it. We all know it. We breathe it. But if you're a leader, you are in a capacity of a position that is someone who adopts change. You have to, being a leader. And we all love generally gravitating towards adaptive change, but then how do we diffuse innovation with adaptive change simultaneously? And so this would be one of my biggest pieces of advice going down this road. It's not about replicating an idea or slightly altering a former idea. It's truly about pioneering a new space into the void, going so far into the unknown where you find that star, you find that light that illuminates your next path. And sometimes it is not people that will do it, it's you that has to do it. What I will also continue with in terms of strategy that I've succumbed to personally is business leadership. It really then applies economic positioning, not just for your product or your service, but it's also your sustainable practices as an organization. Again, kind of going back into selling a product or finding the right GTM suite that your product adoption rate works. How do you sustain your organization in such a way that your policies or your procedures or your framework or your funnels, etc., they're operating asynchronously with that of your product to market fit ratio? And one way that I've learned to do this, because it's incredibly challenging without a roadmap, is to find a bridge. And so a lot of leaders, they work left to right, I've noticed. And they do that simply because, they parallel the English language. When you learn a few other languages, or when you just want to take back from a few, engineering principles, work right to left. And when you do that, so much becomes it manifested. And one of those is risk. And risk isn't bad. Risk is great, actually, especially if you know it in advance. And what I've seen of working right to left is immediately identifying the gaps of risk. And that could be supply chain risk, customer journey risk. But if you go back from right to left and start architecting that funnel, that path of your organizational structure, you would be amazed at the results. And kind of a final point to drive that home, I would also suggest from a business strategy perspective, is it's okay to include waste into your unit economics. We all love, getting business practices to reduce our COGS and widen our margins. It's common. How do we do that? How do we remove so that we can increase our margins with the right market adoption rate of whatever our product is? But what if you include waste in such a way that's not only renewable, but it will widen your margin simultaneously for impact? And an example is what Edison did. Thomas Edison introduced and wasted a lot of carbon filaments so that he can then widen the margin for light productivity. He extended our work week by a minimum of 6 hours, really our day by 6 hours. Right. At the time it was used for recreational activity. Now it's used for, more business economics. So I don't know if it's a love-hate, but it may be beneficial to waste a byproduct of something available to achieve higher growth, wider margins, and great impacting ability to society.
Very good point. Yeah. Awesome. Question number 5 then. What other successful leaders like yourself would you like to acknowledge and you think would be good on a podcast?
Oh, there's too many to name.
One or two.
I would like to acknowledge several, but yeah, one would be Dave Williams. He's the founder chairman of DKW Ventures. Henko Kiesner, founder CEO of PackSize International. Nancy Mayer, executive director, advisory board builder. Bruce Larange, founder CEO of O2 Today. Brett Roderick, founder CEO of Havana Eats. And I can keep going on and on and on. But a lot of names I would love to recommend, and great colleagues of mine that would be wonderful for the show.
Well, and it shows, I think, the quality of people that you hang around as well, and the quality of people that help you get where you're at, which is, there's the idea that we're the synopsis of the 5 people that we hang around most, right? And the quality of people. So
100% awesome. Agree. If we want to put that into the previous one as well about surrounding yourself, that would be great. That's instrumental.
So a 6th and final question, just a fun question. Tell me about your favorite past boss.
So I really thought hard on this one a lot, and I want to answer this not from a favorite past boss. I've had numerous wonderful bosses, but I'm gonna give my favorite experience was with my middle school basketball coach, and his name was Glenn Tuttle, and he deliberately embedded a word into my core. He installed it, and it's been there ever since, and that was persistence. And he always motivated me to challenge and rise above mediocrity, and to continue having persistence no matter what goals that you want in life so that you can achieve it. So Glenn, thank you for that.
That's awesome. And I think that's extremely important in business because there are tons of ups and downs and setbacks, and you have to have that persistence.
100% agree.
It's something that you have to learn and have instilled in you. So.
And embrace failure. When you embrace failure, it's going to happen. But as a founder and as a business leader, and strategic leader, to pivot from that, get out of the world of failure. And failure is okay. It's not bad. It shows you hit a door, and then let's choose a new path. So you're absolutely right.
Right. Awesome. Well, hey, it's been so great having you on. Before we leave, tell people how they can find you or get a hold of you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Keith. So the company's website is chaactech.com, CHAACTECH.com. You can find us on various social medias, LinkedIn, Facebook. If you just look for Chaac Technologies, and you'll find us. Awesome.
Well, again, great having you on. And this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast. For more insights and ideas, follow us at Weaver Business Coaching or online. And we wish you the best success.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Keith, for having me. Appreciate it.